Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by yet again. We are here back with the paperweight Duramax. We're going to be installing a steering stabilizer. If you have not already checked out some of the other front end parts that we have added on this truck, like tie rods, wheel hubs, ball joints, bump stops, all that stuff, make sure you guys go check those videos out. They will be below somewhere with all my other videos. I appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead, show you what we're installing and tell you exactly why we're installing this one, so we can move on with the install. Without further ado, you guys know what, this video is sponsored by Kroil. If you do not know what Kroil is, you definitely need to find out exactly what they do, because without them, my life is a lot harder. And this is a beautiful application to use Kroil, because if you don't know, we went with the Bilstein steering stabilizer, and man, these steering stabilizers like to stick. And of course, with Kroil's slogan, unseize the day, that is exactly what we're gonna do with the old steering stabilizer. But first things first, we need to get the truck lifted up so that we can get easy access. I did install this on my truck in my driveway. It was kind of a pain, but you know what? It's easily doable. You can do it. So just keep that in mind. Just because we're using a lift doesn't mean you can't do it in your driveway. I did my truck in my driveway, but of course this makes life a lot easier. All right, so first things first is you gotta take this skid plate off, and also this skid plate. It's all held on there with 15mm screws. You take the bolts, you take these bolts off and you'll drop all these skid plates out. All right, so right here is where we are going to start using our Kroil to get these bolts soaking. We've got this one here. On the back side of this, right there, that guy right there, that is a nut. We're gonna get this one, and we're also gonna get this one soaking in Kroil. Like I've stated in all my previous videos, you just have to get it soaked and let it sit. It will do the work for you, and you don't have to worry about putting heat on this. Do not put a heat on this. They do not recommend that. See if we can get this bad boy loose. Now, as much as I want to do this with regular wrench, we're just gonna hit it. Oh yeah. So up here, this is also an 18mm. We're gonna go ahead and try and get this with the, oh yeah, with the wrench. Now I'm gonna try and show you exactly where I am. This is right where I am, just on top of that steering stabilizer. Now unfortunately, this is where things are gonna get hard, because you're gonna have to try and shove a pickle fork up in here and able to get this to come down, because unfortunately you can't just pull it down. And also over here, this is pretty simple. You just got to take a pry bar, pop this out of here, but we'll do this first actually. Try and get this out of here. Might as well just use our pickle fork here that we got it, since it's in my hand. Just like that. So now that's free. Now we can go ahead and try and get this broken loose. All right, so just a heads up, if you're gonna do this project, be prepared to sacrifice yourself a pickle fork. Look at this thing. It just spread out so wide compared to what it was before, and now take a look at this. This is just destroyed. So we gotta get a new pickle fork. I would honestly suggest, because of this, get yourself a tie rod separator pickle fork for this type of application, because technically that's the size you need. The ball joint one, which is this one, is actually a little too wide, and so you'll notice it in the store, but definitely make sure you have a ball joint one and a regular tie rod one, because they just come in so handy. Now let's go ahead, unbox this new steering stabilizer that I got, so you guys can see exactly the massive difference, and I'll show you exactly why on the old one, exactly why we are taking it out. All right, so like I said, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing unboxed, move all our stuff out of the way here, and see exactly what we have. Now, if I remember correctly, we should have ourselves a nice little Bilstein sticker in here, but I do not remember. Oh, and it's the first thing we take out. So here you go. This is what you get. Now obviously you can tell the difference just this alone. It is the shock reservoir area, you could say. This is much wider, much larger. It's gonna produce a lot better rebound in your steering than what this factory one has. I could take this and turn this boot off, and you'd see underneath the shaft itself is actually larger. Pretty much everything about this one is way better than your factory one. Now, how do I know this is factory? Well, usually there's some markings on there, but it's hard to tell exactly. I can't find it. There's usually a date stamped on here somewhere, but I know it's factory just from experience. You can tell. But here right now is the biggest thing and exactly why we are replacing it. And as I get down here with you guys, right there, there's no rebound. Not a single rebound in that at all. So now I'm going to show you the aftermarket one, which is a lot harder to do. Now you guys can witness the rebound. Now, what is that going to do for you guys? That's going to improve your rebound of your steering. Now, a lot of people say that this exact steering stabilizer pulls you to the right a lot, and that's because of the rebound you don't have. In your old one, you're so used to not feeling yourself recover from when you turn, or just simply driving down the road and simple, you know, when you're driving down the road and you're constantly going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you're not used to having that recovered so quickly. So a lot of people think that it makes you pull to the right. I personally, on my truck, have not experienced it, and I do believe it's because I have oversized tires and it can't handle pushing them that much. I'm curious on Eric's truck as he's running a stock size tire and obviously stock rims to see if he notices it. If he notices it, we're obviously going to remove this one because there is other different options for steering stabilizers other than this. But man, he's got the Bilstein 4600 series. This is the 5100 series steering stabilizer. You cannot go wrong with Bilstein. I'm a big fan of them. I have Fox 2.0s on my truck. I'm a big fan of those. So honestly, you guys, I'll leave the link in the description below for this. You can't go wrong with it. It's kind of a pain, as you guys saw there, but you know what? It's worth it. So basically, it's going to be the same thing. You have the same exact type of end over here. You have the same end over here that you're going to go. This, you just crank it down all the way, by the way, because this is tapered. So basically, you're going to bury it, and that's why this was so hard to take out, is because you just completely compress that all the way down till it stops. So we're going to bury this down, get it installed, and be done. First thing is we're going to do is we're going to get it set up over here. We're going to get the nut on and just get it ready so I can put it in on the other end. This new nut over here, which I'll repeat myself when we go to tighten this down, this new nut is a 19 millimeter instead of an 18 millimeter now. So now we got to compress this in just like you would a normal shock. That. Now you do reuse the same factory bolt, and again this went up just like that. If you don't remember from before, this is an 18 millimeter, and again this one there, I don't know what the torque specs on is. I'm sure I could find it, but you know what, just enough ugga-duggas from the little mini here and you'll get yourself real nice and tight. So now this is going to be somewhat of a kind of a pain because this is now a 19 millimeter, and you know what they don't make a 19 millimeter? A ratcheting wrench. So I'm going to go ahead, get this on, get this installed, because I'm not going to let you sit here and watch me put this thing on like a quarter of a turn at a time. So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, so what we did is I actually used a 3/8 shallow socket, because you can actually get that up in there. I don't know if you can see right there. You can get it up in there because I thought the deep socket wasn't going to fit, and it obviously didn't fit. But because I used a shallow socket and this is a tapered stud, which you can see right there, the stud doesn't go all the way to the bottom, which is okay. And the reason why that's okay is simply because it's a tapered stud. It's only going to go up a certain amount, and then you'll just bury it. I mean, you'll feel it. It is tight. So you don't have to worry about it. And the nice thing is, I completely didn't even mention that they use a nylon lock nut. I'm a big fan of those. I use them whenever I can. It's just the added reassurance to whatever you're installing, especially stuff that deals with vibration. So now we're gonna go ahead, you know, get all my junk out of here, and then we're gonna go ahead, put the skid plates back on from over here, and finish up this video. I got these Bilstein shocks off a DMAX store. I'll leave that link in the description below. I will also leave Kroil's link in the description below of where you can buy Kroil if you're looking. You can get it on Amazon, so make sure you go check out Amazon. Unfortunately, I don't have any type of code that I can give you for Amazon. I kind of wish I did, even if it was like 5% or something like that, that'd be kind of nice. But unfortunately, I don't think they offer something like that, so I can't do that for you guys. But thank you for Kroil for hopping on the sponsor on the video today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys at Kroil that produce an amazing product. I appreciate all my subscribers. So please go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed, hit that bell button so you get those notifications. Make sure you check some of these small fixes like before in the previous video. We did those bump stops. We did our ball joints. These shock the steering stabilizer is something that people overlook. Make sure you guys check it out. Make sure you keep up on your maintenance. And we'll see you guys in the next video.